All right, let's do it.
Okay, welcome back to the Phoronis podcast. My name is Justin Kubek, and with me I have.
Rico Camacho.
Before we get going, as always, if you haven't already, please like and subscribe. Really means a lot to the channel, helps things grow. Before we get too far into things, of course, we have the 988 Lifeline. Whether you're facing mental health struggles, emotional distress, alcohol or drug use concerns, or just need someone to talk to, their caring counselors are here for you. You are not alone. Call, text, or chat anytime. And for our event this week,
Oh yeah, I love this.
Rico's a little tired today.
Yeah, it's been a long couple of days. Anyway, back to school drive. So even though school's ended, but we are already prepping to get back to school, and that is one of the scariest things for a parent to say. Trust me. Talk about tired. This is not what I wanted to hear right now, but I needed to. And this season is at the Women's Center. They're gearing up to ensure the children that are supported have supplies they need to succeed in the upcoming school year. So that is a really big deal, especially because school supplies are not as sometimes affordable as they used to be.
The days of the 10-cent notebook
Are
are long gone.
long
Yeah.
gone. So even though what's interesting about that though, a lot of the kids don't use notebooks; they use their iPads and whatnot.
Yeah.
So the big thing that I find for the school supplies that are good is the teachers that go into markers and crayons and the creatives. So those are the things that are expensive that are needed more so than pens and notebooks.
Well, and I know they also need things like backpacks,
Yep.
flash drives, pencil pouches, things
And
like that.
now,
There's actually a list on the Women's Center website
yes.
of their most requested things, and you can always message them on Facebook too.
And just be careful because now I don't know if Waukesha went to the see-through backpacks.
Oh,
Because you have to do.
yeah, I don't know that.
Yeah. There's a new. I think it's per district depending, but some people aren't allowing backpacks anymore due to safety,
Fair,
and also unfortunately vaping and drugs in the schools,
fair.
and see-through backpacks again. So if you're going to allow backpacks due to safety issues,
Gotcha.
such again as drugs, and unfortunately with school shootings and things that have happened, not just school shootings, but shootings in
Well,
general.
yeah, you got to take precautions where you can.
Right.
I had bomb threats when I was in school and stuff like that, and we had to deal with it.
Oh God, I've been a teacher and I've had to clear schools, and I mean it's very interesting now. And it's interesting as I digress. I know we have show notes, but as I digress, it's interesting to talk about school shootings and shootings in general because I know recently there was another couple of shootings, and that deals a lot with mental health.
Oh, yeah.
Like, I know actually this episode is about awareness and we're talking about mindfulness techniques. And maybe we can go into that some other time, but because it's back to school, I think it's very appropriate. Is um, going at the whole concept of mental health and school systems. And actually, that does align with what we're talking about today in mindfulness because that is being brought into the schools because of bullying.
Right.
So, you know, it's a double-edged sword with bullying simply because for example, I have a situation, I can't be too specific, but a middle school child was accused of sexual harassment for pantsing one of his friends.
Oh, I got that speech in high school.
Now, though I understand it's inappropriate behavior, 100% agree. I just think that we've gone to a place where schools, I don't know if they focus too much on behaviors, not the child. So, like, why would that child do that?
And at the same time, that's not a new thing. When I say I heard that speech in high school, we literally had part of our, like a pep rally or something like that, or during a health class, where we had a speaker come in and talk to us about how if we pantsed our friends as a joke, we would be labeled as a sexual predator and go on a list for the rest of our life.
We didn't get that. I didn't get that. So, like, I get it. It's not an appropriate thing to do at school. However, school is supposed to be for learning,
Well,
right?
and the punishment should match the crime.
Exactly. I was gonna say I couldn't agree more. And more importantly, not more importantly, I shouldn't even say more importantly, I don't want to put a judgment on it. But I just think not only the punishment fits the crime, but again I say there are some things such as school shootings that the law needs to step into.
Oh, absolutely.
But schools are meant for learning. And I'm going to go a little bit broad from the perspective of our school systems are different than everywhere else in the world. Not better, not worse, just different. Simply because our social, emotional, and social concepts all are constructed around school. I guarantee that everybody who's listening, and I would be very shocked, and I shouldn't say everybody, but I'm going to go ahead out on a limb and say 95%. There's no actual data to this.
Okay.
This is just Rico Camacho's head of data. That sounded weird.
I feel like we could make a logo for that.
We should. But it's about how your social life and your friends have something to do with school, whether it's your college buddies, your high school buddies, whether it's your kids' friends from schools, parents.
Especially with the proliferation of social media.
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, you can meet people on social media, don't get me wrong. I mean, it's been done, and I'm not saying it's a bad or a good thing, but a majority of the time, you feel most comfortable with the people you went to school with.
Yeah.
I mean, most of my close friends are people I went to college with. And I say friends because a lot of people, like I met Justin through a cousin, so that's not school related, but I mean, that's.
But I met your cousin through school.
Oh, there you go.
Yep.
School's
well, actually, hold
college.
on. Pause. We played flag football when we were like Pee-wee together 1 year. So technically, I met him through.
We're not counting
the
that.
YMCA.
Not counting that.
Alfie, you're gonna have to comment. You know the story better than I do.
Yeah, we're not counting it. I'll be comment all you want, but we're not counting it. No, but I mean, and it goes back into why schools have gone into what the focus of the episode is today. You leave it to the teacher to completely digress, but bring it back to the objective of the entire
As long
show.
as we make it full circle.
Oh, we will. Is these awareness techniques like so? I taught an academic and career planning class where I actually took a whole unit on mindfulness, especially because in today's world is, when we've talked about this a lot, but anytime somebody's mean to somebody else, it's generally about you, not about the other person, right? So like going into the mindfulness, like why am I dysregulated? Why am I angry? Why is this happening? You know what I'm saying? And so with that being said, it's more so about how do we go into these different things such as deep breathing, body scan, meditation, mindful eating, gratitude practice, single tasking. And the other thing I'm going to go into, sorry, I am monopolizing this right now. As tired as I am, I'm just going at it.
This makes it easy on me.
They don't always, these are just tools. Just because you deep breathe, so doesn't mean that it's going to work or that you're done.
Well, right. And I like that you referred to them as tools because you can take that analogy to the next step, right? For the most part, everybody knows how to use a hammer, right? You know what end to hold on to, you swing it typically.
Knock on wood. There are some people who don't.
True, and I've met those people. But with a hammer, it's not always the right tool for every job.
Correct.
Right? Sometimes you need to be a little bit more delicate. Sometimes you need to grab onto something. The hammer's not really great for that. So although it's good to have in your toolbox, you need quite a few things in your toolbox to deal with everything.
And it's interesting you brought up hammer. I love that too. The reason that's a good thing is because sometimes people don't understand that it's okay to be angry. So when you're angry, sometimes deep breathing, body scan, mindful eating, all that ain't going to help you. You just need to punch something. Now, a person is a bad idea. Mm-hmm. All right? An animal is a bad idea.
Well, and I would also like to say here, that you can be angry without expressing violence. There are ways to do that.
Screaming?
I was just going to say screaming into a pillow or something like that. Absolutely. Stress balls are a huge thing. If you need to punch something, make it a pillow or...
Right. And that's what I was going actually is really cool. I forgot what company started this and I have no idea what the history is of it, but...
Rage rooms?
Rage rooms. Yeah. That's what I was going to go and see. Look at how smiley you got. So we've recognized as a human race that, you get angry. So what do? Let's create a whole room. Here's a hammer and just go break stuff. Whatever you need to break, just go for it. And I think that that's one of the best things that we can acknowledge is I think sometimes we demonize anger. And when you hold that anger, going back to the school shooting concept, and this is where it's coming around using the back to school as an example for what we're talking about, is... a lot of the school shooters, to my knowledge, everybody wants to talk about mental health and guns when these things happen, and we become reactive. Now, if these children, and I'm even including the college kids on this because I know it's happened at college campus. Yes, it's happened at malls and other and movie theaters and concerts, and I get that. So it is everybody, but I'm going to focus on the kids because we've been talking, or because we're talking about back to school. Is that like it's okay to be angry and express that anger sometimes in a healthy, aggressive way. I'm not even going to say violent because of the rage rooms,
Right.
because of that, because I feel like when you hold things in and some of these other things aren't working, you got to let it out in a constructive, positive
Well,
way.
and if that's the way you know how to express anger, doing it in a constructive, positive way is great. But at the same time, take the time to learn the other not so violent routes. I'm a fan of rage room. If that's what you need, great. I'm a fan of, going to the pistol range. If you want range therapy, absolutely, great idea. But if you need something different, take the time to learn those things too, because, a hammer's not the solution every time.
Everything, right. And I
Mhm.
think let's go actually down into the mindful meditation. One of the things that I really like about body scan meditation personally, I do all these things, by the way, that we were discussing here. You should really put this techniques in we should put them in the lower
The
thing.
description?
That's it, the description.
We can put it in the description. I can put it into a blog post and link that
Let's
too.
do that.
Yeah.
Yeah, when I speak English, I promise I'm good at English. Actually, I'm a social studies teacher, so
Ooh, we
maybe
should do a bilingual episode where I have no idea what's going on and you just run the thing.
that would actually be a lot of fun. No, but what I'm saying is I love body scan because when I am angry, and yes, I do get angry. I know it's going to be a surprise for some, but I do. Um, basically, I'm like, okay, I body scan where I'm angry the most. So sometimes my throat, that means I'm really angry. Or in my chest, oh man, that must mean something really bad happened.
Hmm.
My stomach, that means it's more of a fear based. But I've learned my body enough to know where something is concentrated. That okay, this is what I'm angry. This is what I need to get out of it. And so that's maybe why sometimes because people have come up to me, you're always happy, and no, I am not.
Right.
I'm not. I just learned how to manage whatever it is that could be that I feel is in the best interest of me. And this is actually going to go into something we talk about later, self-care and understanding yourself. Because everybody talks about, and we've talked about this too before, is that pop culture. I need to do like actually one of the I love this story. You may not, but I do. So I teach world history, and one of my favorite things in the world when we're talking about the Neolithic and Paleolithic era is that they were a lot more communal.
Pause. Neolithic and
Paleolithic.
regular terms, please.
Sorry, my bad. When we're talking about that is our hunter-gatherer societies.
Okay,
That
gotcha.
as a human race started in the Middle East, actually. Between the Tigris and the Euphrates, that's actually where Mesopotamia started. But as a human race, we started out as Homo erectus or ape-like, but not completely apes, and we were more communal. Okay, because you needed every person needed to do something in order for the survival of the
Right.
race at the time. So it is interesting we're talking about school again because one of the big hot topics with the school district currently is the closing of schools, and we need people. So we need people to have people,
Right.
and that's how society keeps moving. And that's what we figured out early on. The hunter-gatherer society. It's not Neolithic, Paleolithic. It's the same thing. But anyway, so one of the things I tell them is, based on the fact that back in, 10, 15, 20,000 years ago, we were a lot, or 10,000 years ago, sorry. Ooh, that was bad again. But the thing is that, when I say we were communal, we had people hunting, we had people gathering. Nobody cared about gender differences. It was okay, you're hurt, you're a man, you're bigger, you're hurt, you're gonna go gather, I'm gonna have to go find it. You're a woman, you're strong. I don't care what you are, this is what needs to get done for
Right.
us to eat. Like we want
Oh,
to eat.
prioritize.
Prioritize and not
Right.
worry about race and gender, okay? So with that being said, one thing I explain to my students is I'm like, okay, how many of you ever been broken up with saying I need to go find myself? And every kid raises their hand. Okay, every kid does. And I think that, and they all start laughing. They think it's the funniest thing in the world because everybody can say, like, that's an easy out to break up with somebody is I need to go find myself. Well, I hate to say this, when you leave something, you take yourself with you. So that's just a cop out that you're just afraid of admitting how you really feel with somebody. I'm not saying stay with somebody or don't stay with somebody, but before you break up with somebody, make sure that you're in a complete place where it's a good idea to do it. You're not doing it out of anger or depression or sadness. Do it because you're moving somewhere else. Now, that's a whole nother episode later. But what I'm talking about is that we are such a communal organization and society that we forget about how I need to find myself. And I think we need to redefine that as people. And these are ways before you do anything or react, because a lot of those school shootings and things are reactions.
Mhm.
They're not necessarily, yes, they can be planned, don't get me wrong, but they didn't come up with it one day because they were happy and said, oh my God, I love everybody. Let me go get a gun and shoot everybody. No, it was built up anger, it was built up frustration, it was built up negative emotion, and they didn't know what to do with it. And so these tools that we'll put in the description,
Or
right
learning.
that time, can help understand how that looks and what it looks like to use yourself. And that's what, in my opinion, finding yourself means. Finding yourself is something about understanding. So I'm doing the best I can. I'm not 100% good at it yet, but I can understand, okay, where in my body am I hurting and why is that emotionally? All right, let me try to go at that. Sometimes it doesn't work. That's why I say sometimes I am so elevated and anxious, deep breathing just does not work.
The one that always works for me is actually number 8. It's on the next page.
Mm.
And that's the 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 grounding technique. I'm sure you're familiar
Oh,
with
yeah.
this, right? It's, you're utilizing your senses. 5 things you see, 4 things you can touch, 3 things you can hear, 2 things you can smell, and 1 thing you can taste. And I mean, I've turned to that in moments of a panic attack.
That's a good
I
one.
mean, it'll pull you right out of it. And it's just about knowing that about yourself, and
Yeah.
knowing what works.
And that, bingo, that is knowing yourself. So if you're doing these things and you're in a calm, peaceful place and you still don't think you and said boyfriend, girlfriend, partner, even, it doesn't even matter. It doesn't even to be a romantic relationship. It can be you're fighting with your brother. It could be fighting with your sister, your mother. Right. Nobody ever fights with their mom, right? Because you're perfect children. But in the case you did fight with your mom, these are great things to do,
Well, and like we were talking about how, not every tool is going to be right for every situation. The last one here, tech breaks, stepping away from screens and reconnecting with the present moment. Sounds great, surface level, and for most people it probably is. But for others, setting that phone down and going outside is anxiety inducing.
Yes.
You know?
Especially in today's society.
Exactly. And so it's about knowing that about yourself. If you need that lifeline with you, then that's probably not the best technique for you to use.
Could be, right. But I do agree with it from the simple fact that I think there needs to be a balance. I think technology is fantastic. We're sitting here doing a podcast. This is a brand new not say brand new, but it's a newer concept to pop culture.
2005. It's been about 20 years.
Yeah, and it's started to right. It's been about 20 years, but it started to catch wind. And if we really want to go, I was just talking about 10,000 years ago. So there's a larger scope of things. Anyway, but no, these are newer concepts, and I feel so. Technology is good. Don't ever demonize it. However, it's just like anything else. You can be obsessed with exercising. You can be obsessed with eating right.
Mhm.
Even though it's good to eat right, sometimes it's okay to have a donut because you got to live life, right?
Exactly.
And so it's a balance. So you should take a tech break because I feel like sometimes we enjoy the trees and the waterfalls and all that wonderful stuff on our phone, but we forget to, actually experience it.
Right.
And taking a walk and all that stuff is just wonderful.
Speaking of a tech break, we're at the end of our time for today.
Oh, wow. That's wild.
So thank you for being here and watching. It really means a lot to us, and we appreciate everything you do. We'll see you next time.
Thank you so much.
Bye-bye.